You're listening to Behind the Mic with AudioFile magazine. I'm Joe Reed, and Kendra Winchester has been with me for the week, and we have had really an incredible week. So tell me what you have today.
So I am a huge fan of Olga Tokarczuk, and so I chose the EMPUSIUM, a health resort horror story, and it's translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones and performed by Natasha Soudek. And I love when Olga Tokarczuk plays with genre. I'm such a nerd. I just love that she does all these different things, and so she won the Nobel Prize in literature, and she's just a phenomenal Polish writer. One of my best friends in college is Polish, and so they're all about me reading more of Polish literature, and that's how I first discovered Olga Tokarczuk's work. And so, of course, when this book just came out, I was like, of course, I'm going to be listening to this, and it's delightful.
hmm Her book Flights and the Books of Jacob are just extraordinary,
Yes.
must read books. If people have not read her, there are so many places to start because she is really a wonderful writer.
This book is interesting because it's a combination of historical fiction and horror. And it, it centers around Voynich, who's a young Polish man in 1913. And so he goes to this health resort for his tuberculosis. And so he goes there and he meets a lot of men with other conditions. And this book is really looking at the patriarchy. And what the author has done is taken ideas from very real philosophers and different things at the time and put them in the voices of these men at this health resort. And they're extremely sexist and extremely anti Semitic and racist. And if you know Olga Tokarczuk, especially Fire Plow over the Bones of the Dead, you know she loves a good ending where justice is served. And our protagonist meets all these men. They have a lot of conversations as they're roaming around Central Europe, trying to get good air for their lungs and whatnot. But then we'll just say supernatural events happen at the end of the book. And it's very satisfying and it's delightful.
Tell me about the narration of Natasha Soudek.
This book is a very old-timey kind of feel, like an older novel kind of feel, and so Natasha Soudek does a great job of embodying that style of but, when it comes to the suspense part at the end of the book, she does a great job, and so I really enjoyed the audiobook. It's just I don't know, it's just delightful in the best possible way.
Well, let's hear a little, shall we?
Yeah, so this is a little tree. There's so many historical details in this book, which I love. And the section we're about to listen to is a description of some of the treatments that Voynich has been prescribed for his stay at the health resort.
Okay, this is the EMPUSIUM, a health resort horror story. It's by Olga Tokarczuk and it's read by Natasha Soudek.
This is our entire prescription. In Central Europe, the consumption free zone begins at an altitude of roughly 450 meters. On top of that, there's the consistent supervision of a physician who regulates the diet, and also exercise in the fresh air. Nature itself cures us. The doctor took out a sheet of paper and wrote down his recommendations point by point, while commenting on them in a rather bored tone. For at least 6 weeks, ideally several months, walks tailored to the patient, on routes of varying gradients, with benches to rest on at short intervals along the way to avoid tiring oneself. Moderate treatments with cold water, and that will help you. Moderation in medicaments. In case of a severe cough, I recommend restraining the cough as much as possible, and if it cannot be restrained, you should take tiny sips of cold water or soda water with hot milk. Should there be bleeding from the lungs, which God forbid, we apply small ice packs to the heart and lungs and give morphine injections.
Now, it could be the excerpt, but it seems very performative to me. I mean, and granted, it could be the excerpt. She is reading a doctor's note, so
Yeah, I think the challenge of the performance is to make these very mundane details and these very long winded conversations interesting for the listener. And so I feel like you can
Hmm.
definitely hear some tension and the battle with that. And so if I were to critique this book, that is what I would say. So, but overall, I really enjoyed her performance in the book and all the ridiculous conversations. I will say you kind of want to strangle these men, but again, we love
But
an
then
ending that is appropriate.
it's a good ending. I love knowing that. Thank you, Kendra. We're talking about The EMPUSIUM, a health resort horror story by Olga Tokarczuk. It's translated by Antonia Lloyd-Jones and it's read by Natasha Soudek. Thank you so much. Another great recommendation. And I'll talk to you tomorrow to see how you're going to end the week.
All right. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Dreamscape, an award winning audiobook publisher, is the sponsor of today's episode of Behind the Mic. Dreamscape's catalog includes authors such as L.J. Shen, Frida McFadden, and Annie Ernaux. And don't forget, if you like Behind the Mic, follow us and leave us a rating. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Jo Reed. I'll talk to you tomorrow.